Hey, Mike Gaffney here. On behalf of my wife Sherry and I, we want to invite you to join us in the journey to the Holy Lands, a trip of a lifetime next April. More information can be found in the email. But, you know, when I talk to people about going to Israel or to the Holy Lands, almost everyone says, oh, I've always wanted to do that. Someday I'm going to do that. There's no question most people want to go to Israel, to the Holy Lands, but what makes the difference from people actually going versus not going? Well, I have some thoughts that I want to be able to share with you that might inspire you to go with us next year. Matter of fact, it's a trip that I think there's something for everybody that's out there. For those of you that like the Bible and want to understand the Bible more, one of the things that I learned, and many people have said as well, is that when I went to the Holy Lands, the Bible went from being black and white to being in color, if you will. It just brings the Bible and the Bible stories alive. When you're standing on the Mount of Beatitudes, reading the Sermon on the Mount, looking at the Sea of Galilee, it brings the scripture and the sermon to life. And so, you know, for those of you that enjoy the Bible, great chance for the Bible to go from black and white to color. A second thing that many people have mentioned about this trip is it really is a spiritual pilgrimage of sorts to go there. There is definitely a devotional aspect to this week that is unlike anything I've ever experienced in my life at a retreat center or a conference center or anything. It's just very different to be in a place where you can experience the peace and tranquility of places like the Galilee area, but also in the tension that exists in Jerusalem around the Jewish, the Muslim, and the Christian faith, people all seeking to try to make sense of God. It's a holy land, if you will, for many people. And there's something deeply spiritual about this experience that people have during their time. For those of us that are history buffs, now I honestly wasn't that much of a history buff until the first time I went to Israel about 15 years ago, and all of a sudden got fascinated by some of the Roman cities that they've dug up, and we get to take a look at and see that. We get to see Caesarea, right on the Mediterranean Sea, incredible place where Herod used to live, and it's a beautiful place. It's an unbelievable place to see, and to be able to read the book of Acts and Paul's interaction in that city. It's incredible to be able to just go to the Dead Sea and float in the Dead Sea. And for those of you who would want to do a little, mud masking and a little exfoliating, you can do that there. But there's these grand historical experiences that we get to have. Of course, being in Jerusalem is unlike any other experience. But for you history buffs, an incredible time. Masada, for example, as well. Some great places you get to go. And then there's those who simply are just looking for a fun trip. This is an absolute blast of a time. We have a great time on this trip. Great Mediterranean food. Some of the best food I've ever eaten in the world is on this trip. We get to stay in 4+ star hotels. It'll be fun that way. You might ride a camel. Never know. Can't promise that. You might. I already mentioned floating into the Dead Sea. How about hanging out in the springs of Engedi, where David hid out from Saul, and getting to sit in the pools there. It's incredibly fun. And of course, maybe the most fun of all is hanging out with the Gaffneys. We are known for throwing great trips where a lot of people have a lot of fun. So we can encounter a lot of things, from the Bible to a spiritual pilgrimage to history and simply having fun. I know that it's going to cost a bit of time. We know that it's certainly also going to cost some money, and both of those things are major factors in the decision. But it truly is a trip of a lifetime, and a lot of people wait honestly until they're kind of older and they're retired. And one of the things that I discovered and I committed to many years ago, and why I'm doing the 4th trip now, this is actually the 6th trip I've helped to organize and run, is because I want to see people go when they can truly enjoy the power of being in the Holy Land, to meet the people, to experience all that there is there. I encourage you to sign up and join us on this trip. It's going to be a blast, trust us. See you later.